This episode of the Orange is Orange or Browns podcast, part of the Press Play Podcast Network, is brought to you by our presenting sponsors, Aligned Health Center and The Place. We are still in our conversation with Aligned Health Center's COO, Maria Jean Cola.
And then on the other side, the one that gave me that big grin when you first asked that question is one of my all-time favorite patients who actually just came back into the office a couple of weeks ago. And I was so excited. I ran around the front desk and gave her the biggest hug. She's in her 80s, and she came to us because, are you ready for this? Because it's kind of awesome.
Let's go.
She came to us because she has a condo out at Marblehead and likes to go to the islands and likes to ride her jet ski, but her hands go numb and she has pain in her neck, and she wasn't able to ride her jet ski that summer. So she came to us to ask if we could help her, and we did. And good old Anne, who has released her, photo release and name and all of that for us to share information. So we've got some before and after spinal x-rays, pictures and everything, if you guys would like to post those online too. But little Anne, she just is a firecracker, and she rides her jet ski, and she's got her friends down in Florida and her friends up here in Ohio, and she just travels around, jet sets. And I'm telling you, I want to be Anne when I grow up, because her social calendar is, I'm envious.
Good for Anne. Good for Anne. Now, Maria, you would not have to beg me to release my name and photo if I need help riding a jet ski. That'd be a really quick sign off. But good for Anne. I'm glad she gets to enjoy that. Well-deserved, I'm sure.
Definitely.
Call Aligned Health Center today at 440-230-6865 or visit them online at alignedhealthcenters.com. This episode was also brought to you by The Place. The Place is the place for all of your hot tub, spa, fireplace, and outdoor grill needs. The Place has been in business for 52 years, all family owned and operated. The Place is a full-service fireplace and spa shop. They have a newly renovated 16,000 square foot showroom with over 40 live burning fireplaces and over 40 hot tubs and swim spas on display. They've been voted North America's #1 service center by Coast Spas 2 of the last 4 years. Their continued follow-up and product service support sets them apart from their competitors. The Place is not happy and satisfied until you, the customer, are happy and satisfied. And we here at the Orange is Orange are satisfied. Visit The Place on 2377 Medina Road today. Look for the palm trees to transform your backyard into the backyard of your dreams. When you think of fireplaces, hot tubs, grills, and patios, think The Place. In this episode, Jeremy and I kick things off with 5 hot minutes with JeremyInAkron, presented by our good friends at Online Motor Credit. With shouts to Chubb, we look at silver linings and what this win means with the Browns moving forward, and we pass out some game balls. What a win. What a team win by the Browns. 40-25. Suck at Baltimore. You guys suck. The Browns are over the division for the rest of our lives. Let's go. Jim Donovan, take us away.
45-40, run, William, run! He's got blockers in front, 5, touchdown! Joshua Cribbs! Snap back, ball down, kick block! They blocked the kick!
This is the Orange is Orange or Browns podcast, part of the Press Play Podcast Network. I am your host, Chase Smith, and with me, as always, Browns insider Jeremy Powell. Jeremy, Victory Monday, the Browns, baby, let's go!
Let's freaking go. Dude, today I'm JIA, baby. I'm JeremyInAkron. I feel like JeremyInAkron today. I'm freaking pumped, man. I am freaking pumped. Exactly what needed to happen happened today. We ran all over the Ratbirds in Baltimore, a tough place to play. You could see the shocked looks on their faces. You could see the shocked looks of the faces in the crowd. It was such a beautiful thing. It was just like, it was this moment right here that I think is going to I talked about this this week, but this moment I think is going to catapult us forward to a division championship. This is the moment where the season turned out how we thought it was going to. Everything clicked. Everything was great. And from this point forward, this is the Browns division, baby, for years to come. I'm making that bold proclamation right now.
Well, let's get things started with 5 hot minutes with JeremyInAkron, presented by our good friends at Online Motor Credit. Jeremy, go.
I want to talk a little bit about Nick Chubb, and he's another guy that I didn't want. So I'm 0 for 2 right now on these, right? But Nick Chubb is the consummate pro. Nick Chubb is the opposite of flashy. Nick Chubb is old school. Nick Chubb just wants to go out and do his job. And, oh, yeah, do his job very well. Nick Chubb is never going to be the guy on social media flashing what he's got. Nick Chubb is never going to be the guy complaining after a game he didn't get his touches. Nick Chubb is going to do what he's told to do, and he's going to do it to the best of his ability every time he touches the field. This guy is a hero. This guy is a role model. This guy is everything you want in a football player, and he's on our team, baby. I just can't believe when you see this guy. We talked about it before the show some, Chase, but this guy is deceptively fast. He's big, but when he gets downhill, nobody catches him. The guy is in his second year in the league, playing in a city, on a team, on a franchise with some of the greatest running backs in NFL history. Let me repeat that. Jim Brown, Leroy Kelly, Greg Pruitt, some of the best, Marion Motley, some of the best running backs in the history of the league. And in 2 years, he has 2 of the 3 longest runs in that franchise history. 92 and 88 today, to seal the game today, to take all the wind out of Baltimore sails, to put a dagger in their hearts. Nick Chubb, the most unlikely of heroes, is exactly what he is. He's a hero. He's not flashy. He is just a guy who goes on and gets it. Is there, everyone says Baker is so Cleveland. Is there really anyone more Cleveland, though, than Nick Chubb, a guy who, quote, brings his hard hat to work, brings his lunch pail to work? But it's true. The guy just comes, does his job, doesn't look for attention, does what he's told. You're never going to hear him complain. Freddie Kitchen said he's one of the greatest human beings he's ever met. Hats off to you, Nick Chubb, player of the game, hero to everyone in Cleveland. What a guy Nick Chubb is.
Nick Chubb, 20 carries, 165 yards, 3 touchdowns. Browns would not have won without Nick Chubb today. What an incredible game by Nick Chubb.
Just unbelievable. I mean, here's another stat that I couldn't even believe when I saw this. Did you know today that is the 4th most yards Baltimore has given up in the history of their franchise? 4th most yards they've given up in the history of their franchise. Let that sink in, okay? Today, the Browns that were reeling, the Browns that were the national joke, the Browns that everyone was making fun of, went out and put up 500-plus yards against the Baltimore Ravens and beat them in their place to take the lead in the division on the back of Nick Chubb and Baker Mayfield, but really Nick Chubb. What a day, Chase. What a freaking day.
I think what we realized was this Browns team growing up right in front of our eyes. They kind of experimented and maybe teased us a little bit last week against the Rams, where they had this opportunity and they didn't know what to do with it. Well, this week they had this opportunity and they took full advantage of it. Before Nick Chubb had that run, the Ravens had just scored a touchdown. They just got the 2-point conversion. The Browns were up by 6. We were on our own 12-yard line. And they could have very easily gone 3 and out, kicked the ball to the Ravens at the start of the 4th quarter, and here we go, same old Brown stuff, right? But instead, Chubb breaks off an 88-yard touchdown where we get the Baker arm flail down the field.
Yes, running almost as fast as Chubb. And again, now for the second time this season, a different Brown has the fastest speed of a touchdown run in the league. Chubb just took that mantle from Odell Beckham Jr. He reached almost 22 miles per hour on that run. A guy that's 235 pounds. If you watch it, I've watched that run 5 times, as I'm sure every Browns fan has. But if you watch it, you could almost see it in his eyes. Okay, when he took off, he had bad intentions, right? Oh, yeah. He knew there was a gap. He knew he was going to hit it. He made Earl Thomas and Tony Jefferson. Shout out to Tony Jefferson, the guy who I've quarreled with on Twitter multiple times in the past. Yeah, how's that taste, Tony? Watching Nick blow right by you. It was kind of funny. I saw the name Jefferson running after Browns players an awful lot today. Have some of that, Tony Jefferson, who spurned the Browns to take $2 million less from the Ravens. How's that feel right about now that we beat you 2 the last 3 games, Tony? I'm just pumped, man. I don't care. This is just fantastic. I love it. I love every second of it.
I think a lot can be attributed also to the line. The offensive line played an incredible game today. Chris Hubbard come back, and I think that's a very kind of like underrated, under the radar addition to that line. It seemed more gelled. Baker trusted the line more, and obviously
got touched 1 sack. 1 sack, got hit 1 time. That was it.
And I think Chubb's played well all year. He's had lanes where he has like 1 or 2 players to miss and he's gone. And I think he took full advantage of that. So I'm super glad. I didn't realize how important Hubbard was to this team. And it's kind of evident in this game that, we need him on the line.
Right. And Chubb, man, he had a little extra today. Even on that 14-yard touchdown run. He broke, 5 tackles?
Gosh, yeah.
And he had that juice today. He had a little extra juice, and it was almost like he was filling it. And hopefully he's filling it for the next, 6 or 7 weeks straight here. But I'm telling you, man, it was just an incredible game as a Browns fan to watch. It was just fun. I'm stoked, dude. I'm just super pumped.
Before we jump to the Brown silver lining, Jay, I do want to mention, you said there's no one more Cleveland than Nick Chubb. And I think that is true. Nick Chubb is quiet, goes to work, clocks in, clocks out, does exceptional work. And that is the heart and soul of Cleveland. But I think Jarvis Landry, the quintessential leader of a quintessential veteran leader in our locker room that was the catalyst of this whole new Browns regime on Hard Knocks. In the receiver, we saw that fire then, that kind of a spark that, I quote Star Wars, a spark that lit the flame or whatever that quote is. What a game in the first half.
Yes, and then he had the big run that got us down to the 1 in the second half.
Yeah,
or it wasn't a run, it was a pass.
The triple option,
just like last year. We've been wondering where that kind of stuff was. There it was again. Let me say this about Jarvis Landry. Remember, my bold prediction was that Odell Beckham would have 8 catches for 160 yards. Yeah. Well, Jarvis Landry had the 8 catches for 167 yards. Because what has happened? They found them, like I told you, they found the matchup. They exploited it. They liked that matchup. They went back to it time and time. Now, I didn't realize I knew he got hurt. I didn't realize he got a concussion. So let's hope that it's mild and he's back this week. He's out of the protocol. I mean, that's possible. He could be out. Monday night game gives us an extra day as well. But we will be getting Callaway back next week and Higgins, from what I hear here. Higgins and Callaway back next week. But yeah, you're right. Jarvis Landry, you're right. He has set the tone for the new franchise. He set the tone on Hard Knocks last year. It's so much crap we hear about, spark score, he's not that athletic, all this crap here. Jarvis Landry is a guy every team wants. He's a guy with the heart, and he backs it up on the field. He plays every play like it's his last. Just awesome, man. Just an awesome teammate.
Yep, I mentioned last episode, he's going to be my next Browns jersey purchase without a doubt. And it might be my favorite. We want to once again give shouts to our sponsor, Online Motor Credit. Online Motor Credit is a family-owned and operated business. The area's first zero-interest in-house financing. Online Motor Credit offers zero-interest in-house financing because they understand life happens. Things happen. You need help. You have to spend some savings on maybe a broken air conditioner. Maybe your refrigerator went out. Online Motor Credit understands providing good cars to good people at great prices is their motto. They also offer and provide a full-service garage with certified techs on hand every single day, from brakes, tune-ups, and suspension work to air conditioning service. Online Motor Credit provides good work at great prices. Located in Ravenna, Ohio, this NFL season, make Online Motor Credit your first down stop in car shopping. Jeremy, I think I nailed the pronunciation of that word. Finally.
It took you a month, but you got Ravenna right.
Visit their website at onlinemotorcars.net. Use promo code ORANGE19 at checkout to receive 10% off a brake job or any other service work. Also, mentioning Orange19 during the purchase of a car receives a free oil change for a year. Shouts to our good friends at Online Motor Credit, providing cars to good people at great prices. Jeremy, let's talk about some Browns silver lining. And here's where we're at. The Browns are sitting atop the AFC North. We're 500. We are 1-0 in the division. We beat the Ravens in Baltimore. What can we take away from this win that we're not already that's already not right in front of us?
Yeah, well, I mean, a few things. How about Ricky Seals-Jones with a guy we got off the streets 3 weeks ago with 3 catches, 82 yards and a touchdown, a big third down conversion when the game was still in doubt. Ricky Seals-Jones, just a big game. And I got to go to my guy.
Well,
go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, hold on.
Yeah.
Let's rest there just for a moment. I got crucified on Twitter for saying that we're not going to miss David Njoku a lot.
We are going
in the middle of the field, that his production is going to be missed. It's not going to be missed, and it's going to be the best thing to happen to Baker. I'm not missing Njoku at all. Like, was that a little overreaction on the Browns fans, or are they using him?
I still disagree with you. Because I think it would have been nice to have him on those 4. Remember the week before we hit Njoku on the little slant for a touchdown? It would still been nice to have him last week on those last 4 plays because he's a big body inside, and that's what they use Ricky Seals-Jones as today. But yeah, I mean, he made up for Njoku not being there today, and he played really well. I still think they miss him, but he offsets some of that because he's never going to be a great blocker. He's a former receiver, but he's a big body and he can run, and he made plays today. So yeah, we didn't miss David Njoku today because of Ricky Seals-Jones, a guy who was on the street 3 weeks ago, and now he's playing a big role.
All right, who were you going to move to next? Sorry, I just had to jump in there. They were my mentions a little bit.
You should know who I'm going to next. The much maligned on this show by one Chase Smith, Joe Schobert.
Yeah.
17 tackles today, 9 solos, a sack. The guy is everywhere. The guy is a player. The guy is the deal. The guy is probably going to get the deal from the Browns soon to stay here for his entire career. Joe freaking Schobert. Joe freaking Schobert, baby.
Yeah, I can't change my tune on him now because then he'll play bad. So I just got to
okay, yeah, so keep riding it.
Yeah. Maybe he listens to the show and it's like locker room material. I don't know.
Yeah. And then you also got to bring up Jermaine Whitehead, a guy that Steve Wilkes has been saying he loved. And that a great game, that great interception down on the goal line. It seems like Browns teams in the past, either he goes over his back and it's a pass interference and he doesn't make the play, or he just doesn't make the play. Guy makes it just an incredible play deep on that play. It's just what a performance by these guys that are backups just playing well. It shows two things. It shows, A, that Steve Wilkes can really coach and really scheme, and it shows that John Dorsey can really fill a roster with talent when you got to still have 4 of your 5 guys who play regularly in the secondary out, and you have another whole nother group in all playing well, and you barely miss a beat. Actually, Trent Green brought that up today, that just how well the second group in our secondary is playing, and now that's a testament to John Dorsey.
No, I agree. And I think talking about Schobert, even with the other linebackers out, he stepped up. I think Whitehead, and how does our defense has probably been the better part of our team. I think all points to Wilkes. And I'm just nervous that after this season, he's not going to be our defensive coordinator. I think that's going to be, if that happens, a huge blow. Because all signs are pointing to, man, we stifled the Rams enough that we should have won. And the best offense in the NFL was the Ravens going into this week. They had the best rushing attack, and we killed them. 40-25. It should have been 40-18.
Yeah, the last drive was nothing. We just, it was nothing. It was nothing. It meant nothing. It meant zero. You're right. We blew them out, period. A 15-point win in the NFL is a blowout, okay? Anything over 2 touchdowns is a blowout. Really, it was a 3-touchdown. Lamar Jackson looked dejected. Like we've talked about, the guy is an incredible athlete, incredible with his feet. He makes unbelievable plays in the run, but he will never be a true NFL. He just can't. He's not capable.
You can say it. He'll never be a true.
No, but he'll never be a guy like I've talked about ad nauseum that can, 5-step drop, plant his back foot, and throw and rhythm. He'll never be that.
All right.
And so we'll see how long this experiment can last of him running as much as he does, bobbing and weaving outside of traffic, staying healthy, and being able to. I just don't see it. I don't see it working long term. I just don't.
Well, that's what I was going to say, Jeremy. If you're the Ravens, are you concerned about the next 5 years?
No, because they're concerned about the next 2 years, and they know they can keep this for the next couple of years going. Now, after that, as long as he doesn't get a serious injury, after that, they're going to have to, either look to move on from him or, hope that by some magic that he learns how to take 5- and 7-step drops and stop. And I just don't see it happening, Chase. I don't. But that's their problem. That's not our problem. I don't even care about that. Let them figure that out.
It's not our problem. It's our prerogative. They're not going to be competitive. Jeremy, can Lamar finish a 2-minute drill? Can he?
No, I mean, he can't score fast. It's not. He's not that. Their offense will never. If you get a 2-touchdown lead on the Ravens in the second half, they're going to be, it's going to be almost impossible for them to come back and win because he's not that kind of quarterback. Their offense when it's churning, it looks great. When they're running the ball, sneak a play action in, sneak a quarterback run in, it looks great. But it's never going to be I saw some people starting to complain that they were getting too big at chunks and rushing. I'm like, no, that's the point here because all these plays take a minute each. Yep. You run 6 yards, you get back to the huddle, you call a play. We're up 2 touchdowns, 3 touchdowns. Let them take a minute per play.
Yep.
They'll never come back that way. It's math.
Friend of the show, Mike Lombardi says you pass to win, you pass for the lead, and you run to win. And the Ravens kind of have that reverse philosophy right now. They can get 5-7 yards a run, but you have to pass in the NFL to win. And Lamar Jackson cannot throw. He looked terrible.
For years, when the Steelers were in their heyday here in the early to mid 2000s, you know what they did? Every single game was the same. They got a 2 to 3 touchdown lead. They got some big plays, and then they took the air out of the ball in the second half. That's the formula that works in the NFL, not the reverse.
Well, I think the Browns maybe tapped into that a little bit in the
Yeah.
second half, and it was
I
great
think
to
they
see
found their magic potion, man.
even that kind of like our final offensive drive. Dontrell Hilliard looked great. He looked
He
fantastic.
looks great, man. He's a player. He's a fine man. The kid's a player if he stays healthy. He is going to be a nice compliment for Chubb until Kareem Hunt gets back, and then even when Kareem Hunt gets back, we will be able to absorb an injury. It'll be great. It'll be the just incredible depth in the running back room. This is fun, man. And I think that they kind of found the magic potion that they had last year with the offense, the nice mix of everything. And I just can't wait. Now I'm super pumped. I can't believe now we got to wait till next Monday to see it again.
I know.
But
well,
that's the only downside.
A couple more silver linings here. I still think we're super weak on the offensive line. We're not very deep. We lack depth on the O-line. And I think this Hubbard injury and his reemergence back healthy has showed us that. Like after that, like we have no one else. And
I think they like McCray, and I think McCray is a good backup. I do agree with you. I think they need to keep looking. Grossi brought this up, and he said he just thinks it's a matter of they can't find anybody they like as a backup tackle. So I'm sure they will keep looking. We'll see what happens with Kendall Lamb. If he gets back healthy, that could solve the problem. And obviously they're expecting him to come back, or they would have already done something like that. So we'll have to see, man. We'll have to see where it goes from here. But if your worst issue right now is finding a backup tackle, that's not a bad thing.
And hey, talk about silver linings, injuries. Monday night projected Antonio Callaway is back. Projected.
Yeah.
Hollywood Higgins is back. We're projecting.
Callaway's back for sure.
Yeah, Greedy Williams is back. All these projected players, and we seem great today. Jeremy, this is great news if you're a Cleveland fan.
Yeah, this is fantastic. I cannot freaking wait. I can't wait till Monday night. It's going to be fun. We'll see it even more. People forget how good Antonio Callaway looked down the stretch last year. He became a complete receiver. He was catching everything. Him and Baker had gotten in sync. He's fast. He can take the lid off of defense. Another guy. I'm going to be excited. I'm excited to see how they work him in. Just so much good happening right now. What a difference one big win can make, right?
Oh
everybody worried, and I think this is going to take the edge off the players too. I think the players are going to be able to go out and play loose next week, free and easy, because this is just such a big win, man. I can't emphasize enough what a big win this is and how it probably saved and turned around the season.
Well, let's give out some game balls. What do you got?
Well, I'm going to start with the obvious is Nick Chubb. Obviously. Nick Chubb and Joe Schobert are my offensive defensive game balls. You know what you have to give a game ball to? Freddie Kitchens. Freddie Kitchens took all the heat this week from the fans, the media. Is he ready? Is he not ready? And all he does is come out with a beautiful game plan to win. That second drive of the game, the second drive where we marched down the field I think it was 12 plays, score the touchdown. That was an NFL drive. My dad says to me, who I respect greatly of his football knowledge, has been repping the game for 30 years, said that looked to him like a Super Bowl team's drive. That looked like a legitimate Super Bowl champion type NFL drive. Papa Powell dropping it in there, bringing it heat, dropping it in. But yeah, and my dad, who harsh critic, hates our show, thinks we suck, but he did say that was an incredible drive. Although and like I said, my dad says something, he doesn't just give compliments out willy nilly. So yeah. He takes it, he means it. So and I agree with him. I watched it back twice, and it was a beautiful drive.
I agree on the Schobert, obviously, Chubb, obviously. And I think Freddie Kitchens does deserve a game ball. And this is what I love about Freddie Kitchens. Last week, he refused to allow people to blame his players. He said, hey, blame me. Write your articles on me. Write that I did a bad job. It's all on me. And this week, I want to give credit to the players. All success. Yep. He is not taking any credit. And I think he has this certain style of leadership that obviously I think a lot of the players really respond well to, allowing them to lead, but also he's kind of able to, put his fingerprint on what's going on. Shouts to head coach Freddie Kitchens, back-to-back game balls from me.
There you go.
Good. And the good. Game ball to Austin Seibert again?
Wow. Hey, it's just, we've seen the only thing we say forever that Browns fans are, we've been saying this forever, that Browns fans are experts at bad quarterback play, right?
Yeah.
But we're becoming experts at bad kickers, all right? We know what bad kickers look like. We know what their kicks look like. Right now, he is the opposite of that. Like we talked about before the show, every kick is going right down the center of the posts. I can't remember Phil Dawson in his heyday, probably. That's about it, Every kick looks perfect. He's like in a rhythm. Shout out to Mike Prefer, man. I heard, I can't remember who told me this or where I read it, but he went down. Oh, I think I heard him say it on Cleveland Browns Daily. He personally went down to work him out. There was a kicker that he had earmarked that he wanted. John Dorsey had the faith in him to pick him. The special teams unit is probably the most improved unit on the team. I mean, it's been such a mess for years, and Prefer came in and cleaned it right up. I talked about last week how you see him down on the field, coaching guys up on the stinking kickoff team. You just don't see that. And so this guy is just, and I'll stick to my thing that he reminds me a lot of John Harbaugh. It's just an awesome fit. I'm glad we brought him in. Yep. I'm glad Dorsey saw that. I'm glad that he chose us over a couple other teams, just being from Cleveland. Just an awesome fit and awesome coach.
And I think Whitehead deserves a game ball, making some plays.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no doubt.
He's had a really great couple weeks. I think he's played himself into the rotation quite a bit here in Cleveland. Any other game balls, Jay?
You got to say Jarvis too. I mean, what a great game. I was so pumped in that 3rd and 3 when he gets down to the 1. We see that little revert. And I think what's funny. I think people missed on that. I think that he was actually possibly going to pitch that to Odell.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Did you see that? Odell had maintained a pitch relationship there, so he could have pitched it to him, but it opened up and he shot. It was just a beautiful play call, perfect play call. That reminded me of that Carolina game last year. Similar play call. Yep. It's just awesome. We've now won 2 out of 3 of the last 3 times we've played the Ravens. And how about this? Baker Mayfield, 3 career starts against the Baltimore Ravens.
2-1.
3 games over 300 yards.
Yep. All
3 over 300 yards. Him and Patty Mahomes, the only 2 quarterbacks the last 2 years to throw over 300 versus them. Just awesome, man. Just good stuff.
Jeremy, this is the Browns' first back-to-back road wins since the end of the year.
Let me guess. Probably 2014?
1994.
What?
The first back-to-back road wins. Yep, 1994.
No way.
Yep.
Wow.
I read on the internet, whether that's true or not, 1994.
2-0. Well, it probably is because I know that I knew it had been 20-some years since they started 2-0 on the road. But wow. That's a stat. And let's try to push it to 3-0 next week. And I think that's a winnable game. And then I think coming back in Seattle. See, I've been saying I think Seattle's a little bit overrated. They had problems with the Bengals, problems with the Steelers without Ben Roethlisberger. They ended up pulling away a little bit from Arizona today, but I watched some of that game. They struggled in that game. So I think Seattle coming here is a game we can really win. First things first, though. Let's go out to the Bay and steal one on Monday night.
Will the Seattle game get flexed?
Tony Grossi says if the Steelers lose tomorrow night, it absolutely will. I think he's probably right because the Steelers, they're not going to have to play back-to-back games on national TV if they're, 0-5.
Yeah.
It's just not going to happen. The league's not going to happen. And we know the Browns love them or hate them or box office.
Show up, baby.
We saw the ratings the last 2 times. Yeah. The ratings are off the charts for the Browns in prime time. So if the Steelers lose tomorrow, maybe even if they win, if it's a sloppy game, because, you got 2 teams that haven't won a game yet. If it's a sloppy game, they might anyway. And before we move on to another segment, I got to give a shout out to the I'm not a big fan of parody accounts on the internet, but the Real T Pizza, the Tony Rizzo parody that's done so freaking well. He's a funny dude, a good dude. And he shot me a message that he couldn't wait to listen tomorrow morning at 4 a.m. on his run. He really does. He makes fun of Rizzo for it, because Rizzo always talks about stuff like that, but he actually gets up at 4 a.m. 3 days a week and runs. And one of the mornings is Monday morning. And he was not joking around when he said he needs that pod. So he said he can't wait to listen. So he'll probably be one of the first people listening to this pod. So shout out to the Real T Pizza. We got it ready for you, baby.
Shouts to friend of the show, T Pizza. Hey, we also want to give shouts to our presenting sponsors, Aligned Health Center and The Place, Northern Ohio's first chiropractic biophysics clinic. Aligned Health Center is located in Westlake and Beechwood. It helps patients with back pain, neck pain, migraines, ADHD, digestive issues, sleep disturbance, whiplash, scoliosis, and much more. The mission at Aligned Health Center is simple: to help people in the Westlake and Beechwood areas achieve the best possible health and overall wellness. Also, shouts to The Place. The Place has been in business for 52 years, family owned and operated. The place is a full-service fireplace and spa shop. They have over 16,000 square foot showroom, brand new, recently renovated, with over 40 live burning fireplaces and over 40 hot tubs and swim spas on display. That place is lit, let me tell you. They've been voted North America's #1 service center by Coast Spas 2 of the last 4 years. Visit the place on 2377 Medina Road today. Look for the palm trees to transform your backyard into the backyard of your dreams. When you think of fireplaces, hot tubs, grills, and patios, think the place. Also give shouts to Online Motor Credit for sponsoring our 5 Hot Minutes segment. Jeremy, any final thoughts?
No, man, but this is it, baby. You know what? No more worrying. Now it's going to be fun. From here on out, it's going to be a fun season. All we got to do is win a couple of these games leading up to the Patriots game. Then the schedule eases big time in the second half. And we're going to go on a big run. But I think at this moment, right now, this is the moment Freddie figured out his balance, and the offense is going to be fun for the rest of the year, baby. So get hyped, get pumped, and let's go Monday night, baby. Let's go.
You know, it did feel like with this win, there was this pressure alleviated, kind of like a season-defining victory. The Browns are 2-2 atop the AFC North. Jeremy, let's go Browns, baby.
Here we go, Brownies. Here we go.